Hey there, welcome to rbeats.com. I'm your host, Greasy Keys, with another episode of Local Music Somewhere. Thrilled to have in the studio today my good friend Cap Nunn, local guitarist, sort of touring sideman, singer-songwriter. Cap, so glad to have you in the studio today, man.
Thanks for having me, dude. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah. Well, we're thrilled to have you in the studio, and it's to kind of, just to help introduce yourself to everybody and kind of spread the word. So, let's start from the top, man. So, how did you first become interested in music?
Oh, man. It was my mom and dad's CD collection.
Right on.
And they were 70s mom and dad. They were children of the late 60s, early 70s.
Yes.
So they had kind of like the standards, which was like, Eagles' Greatest Hits, Volume 1. Some Fleetwood Mac stuff.
Yeah.
And they also were big Frank Sinatra fans and things like that, too. My dad loved Motown. But he also loved Creedence and Leonard Skinner and Black Sabbath, oddly enough, even though he was a Sunday school teacher.
Well, Black Sabbath, underneath that dark, heavy facade, I think a lot of their songs actually have pretty positive message.
I would agree. There's a lot of they were still kind of coming out of the late 60s. There were still some like hippie lyrics and with all that too. Yeah. But I think I gravitated toward the Eagles first just because I was a sucker for the harmonies that they had, and they had just nasty guitar solos on the later era stuff and on the country stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, I know it gets a bad rap, but you can't deny how badass Hotel California is. The guitar solo section of Hotel California is like
the whole thing, too. The whole,
amazing.
All the parts of the songs, even like the Glenn Frey acoustic parts are so good. And if you try to pick up that harmony, it's very tricky, too.
Right.
But that was like my first, I think that was my first favorite band when I was a kid.
The Eagles.
Was the Eagles. And then it got into heavy metal when I was a teenager, or 70s, early 80s heavy metal, quote unquote, too.
Were you into the hair bands?
I didn't. I watched all the music videos because it was on TV.
Right.
But I was the Metallica, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden guy. But I would have to wait through an hour of Poison and Keel and the bottom of the barrel hair metal bands to get to like the one or two Judas Priest or Metallica videos on like a VH1 Classic. To date myself.
Very similar taste for me as well. It's like I love something about the 70s, early 80s stuff just resonates with me. But get into the hair metal and I glaze over. I just never really, caught that vibe. So there's
good songs from it here and there. Now I'm older and appreciate it from a song perspective. There's some good stuff there, but it wasn't scratching my itch the way Motorhead was.
So what was your first instrument growing up?
It was the piano.
Oh, right on.
Actually, that's how I learned music. And a lot of that carried over into when I first started learning how to play guitar.
Right on.
And guitar was the instrument that made me go all right, I have to get that. Piano was very after school, very kind of like something like my mom and dad wanted me to.
More formal.
Very formal, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was my grandma's cousin that was my piano instructor, and she was great. She was a character as well, so that kind of made the lessons fun.
So you had fun, but it really wasn't the instrument that felt like the call to you, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
The guitar called me in a big bad way when I was a teenager.
Well, when you picked up the guitar, did you? Obviously, you said a little bit. The piano was sort of the basis, but did you carry on some of the theory and things that you learned from the piano, or was it more ear based?
Both.
Yeah.
I think when I first started taking formal lessons, I remembered some of the training I got from piano as far as like the theory behind all of it, because it's all the same thing, more or less, with just a different approach. Like I knew what a sharp and a flat was. And so on the ear side of things, I learned what a sharp was and what a flat was, higher and lower. And through that, I was able to pick out keys of songs I wanted to learn how to play. I'm like, oh, that's in that key or whatever. Which was why when I got into say Guns N' Roses and Kiss and stuff like that, they tuned everything a half step down, and I was like, and I would try to play along with it, going like, why does this not sound right?
Right.
And then when I tuned it down a little bit, I was like, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I didn't have any training for that. That's just something I just kind of found out on my own.
Yeah, that's one of those things that the general public just probably don't even realize that all these bands, in a lot of the recordings, they're literally not quite standard tuning, right?
No, even like some of the 70s recordings are a little bit sharper too. Like I would try to play along with a Black Sabbath song in standard tuning, and it sounds they're kind of like we were talking about it's like 440,
yes,
but it's like 441 or 442 on those recordings because I think they would speed them up.
Absolutely,
yeah, just because I'm sure on the live taping or whatever, that's kind of more plotting, whatever. And they were just like, "What in mastering? Why don't we just pop that up just a hair, just to give it a little bit more energy?"
Little tempo, little tempo bump,
yeah. And which I didn't know that until I started getting into recording and stuff like that too.
Right on. So growing up, you're originally from Tennessee, correct?
Yes, sir.
What part of Tennessee?
Brownsville, Tennessee.
Nice.
It's about 45 miles east of Memphis. It's closer to Jackson, Tennessee, which is where Carl Perkins is from.
Nice.
And Brownsville, Haywood County is where Tina Turner is from.
Nice.
And I don't know if you've seen the recent news of the unveiling of the Tina Turner statue.
Oh, it was pretty bad.
It's pretty brutal.
Not very good.
They just kind of look. The close up of the face is just. I saw that and just went like, yeah. How much money did they spend on this too?
I love that. So when did you kind of get into playing with bands and also like recording your own solo music as a singer-songwriter? Tell us about that transition.
Oh man, it's kind of a long journey.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Of course, I had my high school band, which was just my little brother and my best friend, bass and drums. Mm-hmm. My brother became a really good bass player, like really quick. He was really into, Primus and Stanley Clarke. And
right on.
A lot of like fusion groups.
Yeah.
So he was probably the most adjusted out of all of us. And my best friend Jordan, who played drums, he was the John Bonham guy, Peter Criss guy, and all that, and Neil Peart guy. We all got in a rush in a big bad way too. And I was the guy that was trying to be like the bluesy, self-taught kind of like. Guitar player or whatever, but I was really into like British blues. Right. Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton. Yeah. And all of that stuff. 70s rock and guitar was my jam, right? And really, I couldn't get the Van Halen thing down. I really wanted to.
Finger tapping and all that kind of
I
stuff.
couldn't. Yeah. To this day, I'm getting better at it. I still do that.
You practice for Van Halen?
Yeah. At my core, I'm still frustrated, just like Shredder, right? But then when I got into college, I went to school at UT, and I got involved with the college radio station over there. And that's when I really got into country music. Because a lot of younger country bands were coming through, and they would do interviews at the station, and they would go do a show, and working at the radio station. We got to go see all those guys.
Awesome, yeah.
Let's see, Lucero, Jason Isbell, Amanda Shires, Wayne Hancock was one that blew me away when he came through. Because like even to this day, he's still kind of like a cult figure.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've listened to his music at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's got that
amazing.
Yeah, I love that. He came in with like a steel player, a fiddle player, and a Telecaster player. And I remember like sitting in the control room while the manager was interviewing him. And I'm going like, "This is awesome."
Yeah. So and you've kind of been involved with a country band here lately, here in Charlotte.
Yes, indeed.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, currently I play with Jason Moss and the Hosses around town, and I was telling you before we started rolling that group's always been kind of ubiquitous in the Charlotte music scene for a long time. Like I can't pinpoint the first time I saw the group play, but it was, they're like one of the few true blue honky tonk bands.
I would say, they are like more traditional country. I know there's recently been with the Grammys, they started a contemporary country music category versus traditional, and these guys would definitely fall into traditional.
Yeah, absolutely. And there seems to be a crop of like not only in North Carolina, but like nationwide, there's a lot of like traditional neo honky tonk bands kind of like doing their thing. But when through the country music thing in Knoxville before I got involved with Jason, I'd always loved the genre and would want to learn how to play, Telecaster style guitar, learn how to chicken pick and stuff like that. And I didn't start playing with Jason more regularly until a couple of years ago. At first, I was just a fill-in guy for when Porter couldn't do it. And for whatever reason, Porter was becoming less and less available. So I became more and more available as a result. And it's still an ongoing with country, it's still an ongoing journey for me as a player, because in country music you have so many elements to it. It's not just the chicken picking and
Yes.
like, just the Telecaster stuff. You also have a lot of jazz, because they do a lot of like swing music and stuff like that too. Like I'm been learning how to get better at playing like Western swing style,
Right on.
like Bob Wills and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So I love Western swing.
Yeah.
But through that, of course, that puts me on the rabbit hole of like Chet Atkins and Django Reinhardt and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So instead of doing the Van Halen, now I'm just a frustrated jazz player.
That's awesome. So you're originally from Tennessee, but you've been in North Carolina for about 10 years, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what would you say would be something that Tennessee musicians might understand about music that's different than North Carolina musicians?
Good question. I've thought about this and for a long time now. With West Tennessee, of course, there's more. There's the history of blues, the history of early rock and roll,
Right.
and the history of soul music through
Right.
Stax and all
Like
that.
Memphis, like you said, that part, yeah.
All of the Memphis stuff, kind of, creeps into where I grew up. And of course, my mom was a big Elvis girl too.
Of course.
Yeah, so you couldn't escape that. And it's only been within the last, as I've gotten older, that I've really started to appreciate Elvis. And, now he's my favorite,
What era of Elvis would you say?
Oh, man. My favorite Elvis record is Elvis from Memphis, which was recorded right after the '68 comeback special.
Right on.
Where he records at American recordings with Chips Moman, and that's the one that has Suspicious Minds.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And wearing that loved on look. The whole record to me is just great. It's the best sounding one, and that's to me the peak Elvis too. Just
Right
that late '60s comeback. So you had that, and then you had Stax records. My dad was a big soul guy, so there's a lot of Stax that you couldn't get away from, and of course with like early blues. Like B.B. King and stuff like that. I think that's what I gravitated towards more first, being a guitar player. And, of course, my British guitar heroes all bowed at the feet of B.B. King and Albert King and all that. And that was kind of a wake-up moment for me, too, where I was like the frustrated shredder going like, B.B. King plays two notes. And it's awesome. I don't need to do, these Dave Mustaine solos or whatever. Right. That was my excuse to quit, learn how to play heavy metal.
Yes, do some B.B. King. It's true, though. It's absolutely true that the emotions that you could emote through just a few notes as opposed to all of the notes.
And with that, and it's weird in Tennessee, it's like it's different in each section. Like in, we had the soul and the blues in Memphis. Then you get to Nashville, and that's the history of country music. So and it's also the business as well. So it's all kinds of things going on in Nashville. And I didn't really appreciate that until after I started living here in North Carolina, because in Knoxville, when I went to school, there was a lot of bluegrass and a lot of, more rootsy based kind of music. And, you hear the stories of like, Roy Acuff and the Smoky Mountain Boys, getting started in Knoxville. You're pretty close to Bristol, so a lot of mountain music is coming down and, getting involved in the Knoxville root scene as well. So I got more exposed to, say, quote unquote, real country music living in Knoxville, than if I lived in Nashville.
Right.
And then I moved to North Carolina, and all of that kind of carries over. And then you get into more of the bluegrass world over here in North Carolina, on top of what I'm starting to learn about now is the Piedmont blues scene.
Absolutely. Yep. It's a whole thing for sure.
It's like every region is just different. And I was watching an interview with somebody saying that we're kind of losing that with since everybody's we're in the world of social media, everybody's coming closer together now, and we're losing those dialects. But bluegrass is alive and well here, and it's crazy to see with all the mandolin players and fiddle players and flat pickers I've met here in this town.
Mm-hmm. So what brought you to Charlotte? Was playing music? Was that what brought you
No,
here?
I moved to Charlotte just to have a more consistent work, right? Because in Knoxville, you're at the mercy. A lot of the gig economy in Knoxville is based around the university.
Yes.
And I had already lived in Knoxville, went to school, and stuck around for a couple of years trying to start a band, too.
Right on.
And I wanted to do a rock and roll band, right? I wanted to do like a Thin Lizzy style rock and roll band, but then that fell apart for whatever reason. And then I I just wasn't satisfied where I was, and I had some friends that lived over here that found consistent work pretty early on, and
Playing music.
Not even playing music,
Not even
just
playing
like
music, just work.
just work, just a
life.
job.
I dig it.
Just
Yeah.
life. Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted some place to settle down and kind of start my adult life, right?
Right on.
But it didn't occur to me to not look for bands to play with either. So my very first show I went to in Charlotte was at Tremont Music Hall.
Yes.
To see Wednesday 13 and a band called the Fill-Ins. That was their opener, and I kept hounding the singer for shows or whatever, or asking if he knew any guitar players, and he goes, "You know what? We need a bass player."
Wow.
And then that's how all that started.
Yeah, that's a great story. So how has being based in Charlotte shaped your opportunities?
Good question. I guess just because we're kind of in the middle of the, we're at a good spot to tour out of, and if you're wanting to do, it's a good route from, like, say, Atlanta. With the girls, we as far as routing, we do a lot of East Coast runs where we kind of go back and forth from Atlanta to New York City, and a lot of other bands of our ilk seem to do pretty well doing that kind of circuit as well.
Right.
So it's easy to build a network, especially if you want to come to Atlanta.
Right.
Atlanta's kind of like the other big music hub that's closer to Charlotte. Mm-hmm. And I've been bouncing back and forth out of there for about another 10 years now too, just because there was a crop of like-minded rock and roll guys that I was a huge fan of, and would go to shows and they would have festivals like that down there too, where they would have them at Star Bar, 529, or in East Atlanta. And they all had the Rod Stewart mullets and the leather jackets and all that stuff too. But it was fun. It was great.
I love that. So yeah, you just mentioned your band, The Girls.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. Your role in that band, and how long you've been involved with it, and what you guys are up to.
They're based out of Wilmington, North Carolina, and they've always been on my radar through the Atlanta East Coast rock and roll scene, because, believe it or not, there's not a whole lot nationwide that plays that kind of 70s glam meets Thin Lizzy hard rock meets New York.
Yeah, you guys are definitely a glam band. I mean, you have the outfits and everything that really kind of make a total package. It seems like it's really entertaining, a really fun show.
The singer of that band comes from a film background too, so he kind of has that eye for what's going to pop on stage and in photos really well too. And like I said, they were always on my radar before I joined the band. They were just kind of starting to find their stride recording-wise. Mm-hmm. And I've been with them for about 3 years now, and I hopped on a bill with them in Wilmington for a festival that they were putting on. No rehearsal, just showed up with a guitar, kind of practiced with JP backstage just to make sure I had the chords down. Because it's mostly it's power chords and stuff like that too. My role is more it's rhythm and color. There's a lot of it's kind of like new wave or The Cure, where there's a lot of layers on top of it. Like his songwriting approach is kind of minimal, but it leaves room for a lot of decorating.
Very cool.
Which is what I like, the way he approaches his songs.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So with you playing in a rock band and a honky-tonk band, what's the biggest difference between the audiences of a rock show and a country show?
I would say the age difference, but there's a lot of older dudes that come to the girls' shows too, because they see the New York Dolls influences, or the glam rock influences, and they love that. But there's a crop of young, especially in Wilmington, college town, a lot of younger folks come out to those shows. But if we play Atlanta, it's kind of a hodgepodge. If we play Pennsylvania is a good spot for that kind of stuff too, like anywhere in Pennsylvania.
Right on.
It's Philly, York, Pittsburgh.
Right.
And so you get the old punk rock heads that come out to those shows, and then the younger kids that are kind of getting into punk rock for the first time.
Right on.
Whereas traditional honky tonk, you're getting a lot of the older guys. And some of the smaller towns we play, you'll have families come out. So I have to be like, Jason, don't play those 10 songs that are about going to jail and stuff like that.
That's lovely.
So it's but it's all audiences that have the appreciation for just music in general too.
I love it. So, with you, do you find it more appealing to be like a member of the band, a side man, versus the focal point being the songwriter? Do you have a preference?
I like being the guy that's not the guy.
Right.
You know, it's kind of not as much pressure on me. And I've only done the singer-songwriter thing just kind of off and on for like 5 years. When I first started, just kind of just sitting at home with an acoustic guitar, just singing country songs at home. That was my cathartic way of just like going through whatever crap I was going through at the time. So that kind of thing is just more. And then I started writing stuff out and just started taking it a little bit more seriously. And then you realize it's a craft if you're wanting to get on par with like some of the writers that I'm a fan of.
Right.
That's their life as opposed to being a great musician.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You got to put your 10,000 hours into that craft as well.
That's true.
And I'm one of those guys where it's like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna half-ass it.
Right on. Yeah.
And then in that process, I wound up during COVID. Again, it's therapeutic. So during COVID, I had to get all my feels out. Right.
Yeah.
So, but they're not serious songs, really. The 2 songs I wound up putting out as a solo artist kind of have a power pop kind of vibe, closer to like an Elvis Costello or a Buzzcocks.
Oh yeah, nice.
Early Tom Petty kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I even sing through my head voice and everything. And I'm a big recording nut too. So part of that process was reaching out to a specific group in Atlanta that was putting out all these rock records that I really loved. And they just so happened to be available. Nice. And carved out some time to go down there and learn how that sausage was made.
Right on. Yeah.
And Dan Dixon is the guy. He still produces records down there. In fact, the girls go and record with him to this day.
Fantastic.
Dan Dixon, he's one of those guys where like, if he hears like one little thing, he's like, nope, start over. It's like, oh no, that's messed up. We got to do it like this. He's got that, I don't know what it is, ADHD or whatever it is, but he'll find it.
Yeah. When you guys are recording with him, do you guys do the old school approach of like everybody in the room recording all at once, or is it more layered?
It's more layered, but when we track, it's weird. This is with every client that they do. They'll track drums first, but we're in the room with the drummer while we're tracking them, right? So that it feels live. But then that drum track, that drum bus is put together, and then we'll come in and put all the layers on top, right? And Dan, he's a terrific guitar player too, so he'll have a couple of ideas he'll throw at us, going like, "Why don't you try it like this?" And it's usually good. Nice. Yeah.
And you're receptive to that, right?
Oh yeah.
Always looking to grow and take some other folks' advice or direction. That's really cool.
I don't have an ego when it comes to like that kind of stuff. If it sucks, just tell me.
I love it. Well, hey, Cap, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear a word from our sponsor and come back and maybe have you strum some chords for us.
Okay.
What do you think?
Sounds good.
Awesome. Hey, this is Greasy Keys. We're in the R-Beat studio here with Cap Nunn. Stick around. We'll be right back after this message.
Hey everyone, if you're like me, music isn't just background noise, it's the soundtrack to our lives, pumping energy into our everyday moments and helping us feel, well, more alive. Today I'm excited to talk about something that's revolutionizing the way we experience music. R-Beats Radio. Created in 2012 by a diverse group of artists, songwriters, and musicians, R-Beats isn't your ordinary radio station. It's a universal, unique, boutique internet radio and media streaming service that's all about simplicity and inclusivity. Whether you're an artist looking to share your tunes or a listener craving new beats, R-Beats is here to amplify your experience. Now picture this. You're grabbing a 6-pack or 12-pack of radio streams, tuning in and discovering music that's played non-stop. 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, 366 days a year. Yes, you heard that right. R-Beats is committed to making sure your music, your voice is heard around the clock. Their mission? To provide a platform where all musical and artistic talent can shine. They keep it simple. KISS, or keep it simple sweet, with an open book policy that welcomes all creators. And the vision? It's all about inclusivity. R-Beats welcomes the most discerning listeners as well as the non-discerning ones, making it a hub for music discovery and media enthusiasts everywhere. As a member of ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, Sound Exchange, and Popology, Our Beats stands as a proud advocate and supporter of artists and musicians. By tuning into Our Beats, you're not just listening to music, you're supporting an entire community of independent musicians and artists from all over the world. So what are you waiting for? Whether you're here to listen, read, watch, or support, Our Beats is your gateway to the future of music. Join the Our Beats radio revolution. Let's make the world listen. The future of music is now, and it's waiting for you. Remember, less is always more with Our Beats. Tune in, turn up the volume, and let's change the way we experience music together. Catch you on the stream.
Get you on the stream. That's right, here at Our Beats. Hey, thrilled to have my buddy Cap Nunn here in the Our Beats studio. Cap, so we were talking a little bit about your songwriting and your couple of solo releases that you put out during COVID. So you gonna maybe strum for us some a little bit? Which give us a little background on your tune and what you got.
So I wrote as far as like writing songs or whatever, one thing that I learned from like other songwriters is that if you can play it on just an acoustic guitar and it sounds good, then chances are it's going to be a good song.
Right on.
And this one I co-wrote with a guy in Atlanta named he's not in Atlanta anymore. He lives in Nashville now, but his name is Tuck Smith, and he was one of the guys that was I was a fan of in that whole Atlanta scene that I brought up before.
Yeah.
He had a group called Biters that was just tremendous. And now he's got a solo thing with a full rock and roll band that's about to go tour Europe.
Nice.
And he was great with helping me out with this, and we were on the phone going over like all the little nuances of this. So it was a challenge, but we made it work. And this is called "Let Me Be." Ain't no use in crying, no reason to stay, 'cause there's always something or someone to blame. Bum bum used to be my rainbow on a cloudy day. Now I'm sick and tired of waiting on the rain. I never thought I'd ever let you go. I don't love you anymore. I just had to let you know. Just don't care about me, and I swear I won't care about you. Just don't say another word, and I won't say a word to you. I don't want anything if you don't need nothing from me. Why can't you see? Just let me be. Just let me be. Let me be. Just let me be. Let me be.
Yeah, nice.
You like that choppy Clash
I'm gonna say totally could go Clash or even honky tonk. You can go either way with that. That's great.
I like writing country songs too. The bass player that plays with Jason now, his name's Red. I'm gonna get his last name wrong. Bredenberg. But he and this other singer I play with, Grayson Drum. They have a group called Hiram.
Yes.
And they do. It's a honky tonk band, but it's all acoustic instruments, which is really good. And Red, he'll and I just talk about like, writing songs and stuff like that. But he's a front porch picker. He hates getting out and playing live, unless it's with Jason or Grayson.
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But he writes really good sad songs. And I'm kind of at the point where I'm like writing songs like, say, like country songs where it's like, wasted away all my good years, wasted away all blood, sweat, and tears. I ran out of money, ran out of time, ran out of love, or any good reason why. All my songs have feels in them.
Yeah, I love it.
Out loud, right?
And well, I got to say, Cap, we've known each other. I guess probably almost the entire time you've lived in Charlotte. Would you
Yeah.
say at least 5 or 6 years? And one thing I've always observed about you is you were just like a sponge. You're always eager to go out and kind of dip your toe in different places and jam with different musicians and always kind of glean something, man. So I just want to say that I've noticed that about you, and I really respect that and appreciate that you do that for yourself, and then what you then return into the community, and just being a great person and being a great part of that community, man. It's really awesome.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I love learning new things. It's like I always my goal in life is to continue to grow with this and everything too. Like I've even learned how to do like those talking about like all the jazzy stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, there's a guy that plays with Jason every now and then. His name's Angus Mackay, and just about every week we'll get together and learn how to do and just play rockabilly kind of stuff,
Nice.
or like 50s kind of like that kind of stuff.
Love it. So, man, you've played with so many musicians across obviously various genres. What's one thing that all great musicians do, regardless of that genre?
They don't quit.
There you go.
They don't quit. Once they're in, they're in, and you're not going to change their mind. Mm-hmm. Even if the industry or the business, gets them down or one way or the other, which we've heard. We could go at length on that probably
Right.
too.
No doubt.
But
That's
yeah,
a great answer, man.
they're still here.
How about this one? What's the biggest mistake guitarists make that keep them stuck?
The biggest mistake that they do is not they do the opposite of of growing. They just kind of get stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
They don't expand their craft. Mm-hmm. I know a few. I won't. We all know a few guys that are
Sure.
that are like that.
I've heard Angus Young quoted saying, "I don't care if I never learn anything else ever again." And that just kind of blew my mind. Of course, he's the writer of so many iconic guitar riffs. It's like, okay, Angus Young, you can get away with that. But to hear someone like that say something like, I don't care if I learn anything else again, that's just as mind blowing. Because I'm like you. It's like I always want to be learning and expanding. And I mean,
well, there's now that you bring up that, I'm thinking of a couple of other examples of like some heroes of mine that kind of like didn't really once they found out that a style that worked, they didn't like go further. Like Ace Frehley, rest in peace. Ace Frehley was his own vibe, and he often said, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it."
right.
And but it's still like he's one of those guys for me when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting to learn how to play rock and roll guitar like that, and till the day he died, he just kind of did his thing. Same with Johnny Ramone from the Ramones. All he ever did, he spent 40 years, 30, 40 years of just that.
Yeah.
And nothing else. Their craft was the songs and the vibe, right?
The image, maybe, right? I don't know.
And it's it's hard to say what Ace Frehley's motivation was. Probably just get out there and just be anybody and just be Ace.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
For a long time, yeah.
I mean, really, that's what's that's a motivation for a lot of us. But
Right, especially when you're a teenager.
Well, Cap, man, it's been a thrill to have you in the studio today and just giving us a little bit of your background. I look forward to hopefully having you back here real soon. I know we were going to be inviting Jason Moss and the Hosses back in the studio, hopefully for early 2026, to have you guys come in to help promote a Valentine's show coming up at the Rooster.
That's
in
right.
Gastonia. But hey, in the meantime, do you have anything coming up that you'd like to promote and throw out there?
I've got a few shows lined up for the rest of the year locally. At the time of this recording, I'm playing with Jason in Pineville. We're doing just a duo set where I'll be playing electric guitar accompaniment, and I might bring out the lap steel. That's another journey I'm starting to.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Where's that going to be at? When?
That's going to be at the Pineville $2 Saloon from 9 to midnight.
Nice.
And there's a couple of things on my calendar. I'm playing with Jade, actually, at Tommy's Pub. It's Jade Moore, Mel Amara, Dave Kopsick, and Johnny Boswell. We're playing we've got a little collective called Whiskey Richards.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
It's fun. It's fun. And we're playing Saturday for Folk It Fest at Tommy's Pub.
Love Tommy's Pub. Shout out Tommy's.
I love Jamie. They're the best.
Yeah, yeah. So that's this coming Saturday.
That's this coming
On the
Saturday.
15th?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then Jason on the 14th. So if you're listening live today, that's what's going on this weekend.
Yeah.
But I'll probably be posting I should just make a calendar of all my stuff for all my socials and stuff. But if you follow Jason Moss and the Hosses on Instagram, and you follow the Girls Band on Instagram,
And the girls is just literally the girls, no Z's or anything. It's just girls.
just the girls, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just the Girls Band Official, I believe, is what
Right.
the Instagram tag is.
And what are your socials?
Just at Cap Nunn on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook with my real first name, James Capel Nunn, and you know, I try to be more present in real life, but when I'm plugging shows, I use all those outlets.
Yeah, that's really about all they're good for.
Yeah, and I'm hardly ever on TikTok or anything like that. But I just I'm old. I forget it's there half the time.
Right. I'm with you on that. Well, man, thanks again for coming in and sharing some of your story, and just wishing you all the best, and look forward to having you back in here real soon.
I can't wait.
Oh, I love it. Hey, this has been Greasy Keys with my band Cap Nunn in the R Beat studio. Be sure to check us out. Be sure to follow him on all the socials, and tune in next time. We'll see you.
Thank you.